What's going on, everyone? And thank you for tuning in to another episode of I'm Just Curtis. I'm Curtis. I know it's been a little while. I haven't been posting any clips. I haven't posted a new episode, and there's a reason behind that. We'll get into that a little bit later. But first, no, your eyes are not deceiving you. You're not seeing things. It's not a trick of the camera nor a filter. Yes, the locks are gone. Cut them off last month, actually, right before my birthday. And let's go ahead and answer the question that I know a good few of you are asking. Why? What made me decide all of a sudden to cut off my hair, the hair that I had been growing for the last 4.5 years? What made me choose to go with this new look? Well, short answer, God. That's the immediate answer. But of course, you know, I'm going to give you more than that. The truth is, I have been thinking about cutting my hair for probably 2 of the 4.5 years that I have been growing it. Originally, I thought about cutting my hair back in 2023. You see, a very good friend of mine unfortunately got sick with lymphoma, and he also had locks. Ironically, he was the reason I started growing mine. So like most people who unfortunately get diagnosed with cancer and begin going through the radiation and chemotherapy, he lost his hair. And when that happened, I heavily considered cutting my hair off just to show solidarity with him. But of course, and all my married men or men who have ever been married before will understand this, I got outvoted. It's ironic though. The same person who told me I couldn't cut my hair in this moment was the person who didn't want me to grow it in the first place. However, unfortunately, shortly after all of these things transpired, my friend would lose his battle with lymphoma. And at the age of 32, he would leave behind 3 children from a previous marriage, his current wife, siblings, grandparents, parents. That was a rough time. That was a very, very rough time. After that, I started considering cutting my hair more frequently, not because I didn't like my locks or I didn't want my locks, but because I had just grown out of love with this particular style of locks I had. You see, I only had the top. I didn't have nothing on the sides. My sides were shaved. And I was getting to a point where I was thinking to myself, you know what, I should just cut this off, start all over, and grow locks on my full head. But the only reason I didn't do it was simply because I didn't want to start over, you know? I had already given almost 4 years at this point to this lifestyle. I didn't want to cut my hair off and start from square one. Now, sure, I could have cut my ends and grew my hair out and reattached them, and all that would have been fine and dandy, but my loctician, she suggested I didn't do that. Fast forward, this past February, I'm at the gym and I'm talking with one of my friends who are there. And again, I'm in this place where I'm considering cutting my hair, but this time feels very different. It wasn't because I wanted to cut them off and start over again. No, this felt deeper. And I just knew this time when I was having this thought that not only was I going to go through it, but I wasn't being led by my own fleshly desires. This was spiritual in nature. And so, around my birthday, a week before my birthday, I cut my hair off and did a whole photo shoot and everything with it. Now, this is going to sound like I'm coming way from left field, but I promise you, it's pertinent to the story. Did you know that numbers have biblical meanings? Have you ever looked it up? Have you ever researched it? So the number 1 means absolute unity. The number 2 means witness or confirmation of truth. The number 3, divine perfection, completeness, or the Trinity. The number 4, earthly creation or all-encompassing geographical extent. The number 5 means grace. So it's 2024, and this is the beginning of this season that I've been in for the last 2 years. And I'm in my car driving. I can't remember where I was going or where I was coming from, but I'm in my car driving, and I get a phone call from Pastor Johnson. Mind you, at this time, I hadn't spoken to Pastor Johnson in 2, maybe even 3 years. It had been some time. And Pastor Johnson was calling me about something personal with him And then he asked me how I was doing. And I told him the truth. I said, Pastor Johnson, life is difficult right now. And I went into the reasons. And as he has always done, he ministered to me in that moment. And from that moment, he became my confidant. He became the person that I went to for mentorship and guidance and wise counsel. As time progressed, around Father's Day, he told me, I really think you should come to service this Sunday. And initially I protested because I was already doing service with Purpose Place Church. I was their media minister. And when Pastor Johnson told me what time service was, and he said, you don't even have to stay for the whole thing, but I think you need to come and hear what the sermon is about. So I agreed. And I went to church that Sunday. And from that point on, I would go to his church every fourth Sunday for the remainder of that year. The irony of that, and you'll notice it begins a trend. It was 6 years since I had known Pastor Johnson. I had just turned 33. 3 plus 3 equals 6. And it was 2024. 2 plus 4 equals 6. And I had gone to his service for the first time on Father's Day. 6, 6, 6, 6. It's ironic, all those sixes in a row, because 2024 was hell. It was hell. It was hell. Fast forward, 2025. I had just I'm 34 now. 7 years since I had known Pastor Johnson. 2 plus 5 equals 7. 3 plus 4 equals 7. Pastor Johnson, it was November at this time. And Pastor Johnson reaches out to me and says, hey, the 5th Sunday of this month, I want to do a Young Men's Sunday. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm with that. That sounds like a great idea. Let's do it. And as he's talking to me, I'm thinking he's going to ask me to do the song of preparation. I'm thinking he's going to ask me to do preside over the worship service or something like that. Things that I had already done before, because at this point, I'm a full-fledged member of the church. I had joined that January. Pastor Johnson says to me, I want you to deliver the message. Me. This guy, Curtis? You want me to I don't know if I'm ready for that, Pastor Johnson. I don't know if I'm ready for that. As I have said before, Pastor Johnson is not the type where when he says things, it's him speaking. He's not the type. When Pastor Johnson speaks, he is being led in that conversation. So I already knew it wasn't him talking. So I agreed. On November 30th, 2025, in front of family, friends, church members, and church family alike, I spoke my first message. Now here we are, 2026. I just turned 35. And it is now 8 years since I've met Pastor Johnson. 666-777-888. You're seeing the trend? And let me give you what 6, 7, and 8 refer to. The number 6 is imperfection or incompleteness. The number 7 is spiritual perfection. And the number 8 is new beginnings. It's kind of ironic the way things happened on those individual moments. 6 years from knowing Pastor Johnson, 7 years from knowing Pastor Johnson, and now 8 years of knowing Pastor Johnson. Because as I look back and I reflect in hindsight, 2024 was me being made aware of a calling that was on my life. 2025 was me finally accepting and making steps toward the calling that's on my life. And now 2026 is going to be everything that comes with that acceptance. And what I realized, and this is why I said I was called, it was a spiritual reason behind why I cut my hair. When I had that thought back in February, I recognized all the changes that had been done in my life. I went from a man who was actively avoiding the church to a man who looks forward to church every Sunday. I went from being a man who wanted nothing to do with the church to a man who is now speaking the word of God. I went from a man who is actively running from God to now in a new position in the church where I am the minister of music. I lead praise and worship every Sunday. So now every Sunday morning, the first voice that you hear in my church is me, lifting the Lord's name in song with the rest of my praise and worship team. All things that I didn't want. All things I wanted nothing to do with. And it dawned on me. God didn't just want me to experience the changes that I was going through. God wanted me to show physically the change. And what more drastic of a change is there for a person to do than to cut all their hair off? And going back to the thought of not wanting to start over, because even when I cut my hair off finally, I was still considering when I planned to grow it back and grow a full head of locks and all these things. Initially, I said I didn't want to start over. And I realized something. You're not starting over. You're starting better. And it made me think about Simon Peter. In the book of Luke, I want to say it's chapter 5. Simon is out fishing while Jesus is on the shore preaching. Throughout that entire time that Jesus is preaching, Simon doesn't catch anything. He doesn't catch a single fish. As Jesus has wrapped up his preaching, Simon is coming back to shore. And Jesus tells him, "Go back out and cast your nets on the other side." Simon protests and says, "My Lord, I just was out there. I was just doing all that, but since you say so, I'll do it." He goes out, casts his nets on the other side of the boat, and he begins to generate a catch so vast that that the nets were beginning to break. And then he had to call his cousin to come help him. And as they're pulling the fish onto the boat, both of the boats began to sink from the weight of the fish. See, when Simon went out there the first time, Simon went out there alone. But when Simon went out there the second time, Simon went out there under the instruction of Jesus. So he was not starting over, he was starting better because he had a different set of parameters around him fishing this time. And mind you, Simon was not new to fishing. He was no novice. He had done this. This was his profession. But once he did it with Jesus, he had caught fish in a manner that he had never done before. And it was after this moment that Jesus told him, "You will now be a fisher of men." And he left the catch behind. Simon was not starting over, he was starting better. And now he was off to something new, walking with Jesus. And the thing is, how many of us, when God calls us to something different, something new, something strange, we're so ready to challenge it? The new location, the new person, the new job, the new whatever. How many times do we find ourselves nervous because we don't want to start over? This feels familiar. This feels normal. I'm used to this. I don't want to leave this because it makes sense to me. But we fail to understand that when God calls us into something new, He doesn't call us into it alone. He calls us into it with Him. Because He's going to carry us through it. He's going to deliver us through it. It kind of reminds me of the Israelites leaving Egypt. You know, God called them to a new place, and they didn't want to go because they kept wanting to return because Egypt was familiar. Egypt was usual. Egypt felt normal. The whole reason they were in the wilderness for the 40 years was because of their unwillingness to accept what God was doing in their lives. They wouldn't keep their focus on Him. Which reminds me of a prayer that I prayed. Because one of the things that I used to say is I don't want to be like them. I don't want to be that type of person. And I prayed this prayer that I wanted to be Paul and Silas in the prison. If you don't know the story of Paul and Silas, let me explain. So Paul and Silas were out in a town, in a foreign land, preaching the word of God. While they're in this land, there's this demon-possessed servant girl who is mocking them, following them, saying, "These men are followers of Jesus. These men are followers of Jesus," which isn't a lie, but she's mocking them. So Paul cast the demon out of her. The servant's master was not happy about this because the demon that possessed this girl gave her clairvoyance. She could see the future. And this was how he made money. Well, now, you just got rid of my cash cow. Paul and Silas are stripped, whipped, and thrown in jail. And while they're in jail, they don't complain. They don't whine. They don't moan. They don't curse God or question God. No, they sing His praises. They lift His name. They glorify Him. And their worship is so strong that an earthquake happens that shakes the foundation of the prison, and the walls come down, and all of the prisoners are freed. And it leads me to this revelation that I had. On my birthday, my Aunt Sarah called me at 9:30 in the morning, which was very uncharacteristic of her. I answered the phone, like, "What you doing up?" "Hey baby, happy birthday, I just wanted to talk to you. I've been going to sleep a little earlier, been waking up a little earlier." So, okay, that's good. She said, "I wish I could sing to you, but my voice ain't quite strong enough." And I said, "Auntie, that's fine. You'd have to sing to me, baby. Just hearing your voice, just hearing you wish me a happy birthday is a gift enough." We spoke for another 15, maybe 20 minutes. And I didn't realize that would be the last time I spoke to her. Because 24 hours after that phone call, I'm at work, doing my thing. I'm on the phone with my pastor, venting some frustrations. And I get a phone call from my dad. Now, this was not unusual. My dad usually calls me randomly in the middle of my workday. About 10 or 15 minutes later, I get a phone call from my older sister. Now, this was unusual. She never calls me in the middle of the day. She's a teacher. Right now, she's usually working. I answer the phone, thinking she's about to tell me something's going on with my mom, because my mother has been in not the best of health for the last couple of years. In and out of hospitals and rehab facilities for her illnesses, and I'm thinking she's about to tell me something's going on with my mom. I answer the phone and I say, hey, everything all right? What's going on? Sarah passed, was all she said. Sarah passed. To say that I was shocked is an understatement. I was caught off guard by that. Fast forward. It's the Tuesday of the next week. It's April the 6th. We're at the funeral, and I, along with my uncle and my cousin Nishan, was asked to speak on behalf of my aunt. And I asked my uncle to let me go last. He said I could. And I rehashed our conversation. I made it known the last time I spoke to her. I made it known, what she said. And then I said in that moment, although she could not sing to be, I can at least sing to her one last time. But I'm not only singing to her, I'm singing to my family. Because despite the pain and the hurt and the frustration that we are feeling right now, we still have to keep in mind that despite all of that, God is still good. And I sang Total Praise. And in that moment, it hit me. Not only had God answered my prayer, but he made me understand just what I was asking for. Because Paul and Silas singing worship songs in the prison was not about them. It wasn't for them. It was for all of those other people who were imprisoned. And I realized that God had actually been slow walking this dog up until that point. Because again, I had been placed in charge of the music ministry. I didn't want it. I didn't want to lead the music ministry. I was fine being a part of it, but I didn't want to lead it. But then I realized, you were preparing me for exactly what I asked for, being Paul and Silas in the prison. Because Paul and Silas already had Jesus. They already knew him. They walked with him. Paul and Silas already had God. Paul and Silas in the prison, singing the worship, led to the deliverance of all of those other people who were in jail. Because if it was only about Paul and Silas, only Paul and Silas would have been freed, not the entire prison. When I sing on Sunday mornings or Sunday afternoons for praise and worship, I'm not singing for me. I'm singing for the people sitting in that congregation in attendance. I'm singing for whatever struggles, frustrations, hardships, difficulties they're going through. Because if praise and worship is only about me, I don't have to do it at church. I can do it in the car. I can do it at home. I can do it in the shower. I can do it alone. But I said I wanted to be Paul and Silas in the prison. So I need you to do it in front of the people. I said I wanted to be Paul and Silas in the prison. So I need you to do it for your family. And then I realized something. Well, I had always known this, but it just made something make a little bit more sense. Because I've said time and time again, this is bigger than you. This is bigger than me. It's bigger than us. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're struggling through, whatever you're fighting with, the end result ain't even about you. You benefit from it, but it's not about you. Think about it like this. If I sat back and if I took half the time that I've taken giving this information to you, and I went through just the first year of what the last 2 years has been, just the first, you would wonder, number one, how I even have the energy or the willingness to do this. You would wonder how I can show up to church on Sundays, sing the Lord's praises when I don't feel blessed all the time. You would ask yourself, how do you keep going? Because it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. It's not just about me. See, the thing is, the storm that you are in, the test that you are being, the test that is being administered to you leads to a testimony that someone else will live. See, the thing is this. The test that you are in right now will build the testimony that someone else will use to teach them how to trust God as they go through theirs. Somebody somewhere is looking at you and thinking to themselves, if they can make it through that, I can make it through this. If they can overcome that, I can overcome this. If they didn't quit when that happened, I can't quit when this happens. If they made it through, then why can't I? It's bigger than you. It's not just about you. Your yes opens the doors for you and countless people that you don't even see behind you. When I asked to be Paul and Silas in the prison, what I was asking was for God to show me originally how to praise and worship even when I was hurting. I prayed the prayer for selfish means. That's just the truth of it. But God, being sovereign, knew that not only was he going to teach me the potency of the prayer that I prayed, but he was going to make sure that I understood it. What you are going through is not just about you. One last time, let me just reiterate it. It's not just about you. You are the benchmark for somebody else who doesn't even realize that they are watching in real time what they will deal with in due time. That's why you can't quit. That's why you can't give up. And that's why when God calls you to come do something new, you have to keep this other thing in mind. You're not doing it alone. You're not starting over. You're starting better because you're starting with God. But that's all I got for tonight. Honestly, it's late and I need to get in bed. I say tonight, I don't know when you're going to see this, but with that being said, I love you. God loves you more, and may God bless you.